Hello, Scary Dolls.
Hello.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Caro.
And you're listening to Scary Not Scary
Podcast. What's up, y'all?
What up, girl?
My chapstick fell. I've been real crusty lately.
Literally, you've been crusty.
Literally,
you've been crusty.
Crusty, dusty, but not musty, baby.
Do you want to tell everybody why you're crusty?
I got a chemical peel at work. And it's basically just supposed to take off the layer of your skin, make new skin, and I'm gonna look 12. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to look 12. Maybe 21.
21. Oh, to look 21 again. Mm-hmm. But I don't like how I looked.
I wish I knew how to do my makeup at 21 the way I do it now.
Yeah.
I would be fucking hot.
For real.
I look like a raccoon turkey. I don't know how to explain it.
And I feel like my hair game too around that time. Like I had so much hair and it was so long I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I was still kind of learning how to do my hair.
Bitch, I chopped all my hair off.
You did?
At 21. Yeah. And why would I do that?
I don't know.
Ugh.
I did that too when I dyed. Remember when I dyed my hair blue and then I went super short, up to my neck short. And that was the last time I ever had my hair that short. No, lies. I cut my hair short one other time and then I regretted it.
No, don't cut your hair short.
And never again.
Oh, no.
Even just getting a trim, I'm like, they cut off a lot of hair.
I'm always scared to go get a haircut. Always scared.
I don't know, guys. But first things first, have you voted?
Yes. Have you?
Vote. So technically, when this episode comes out, you will have at least 2 to 3 days to vote because voting ends February 15th.
Yes.
And you need to vote daily. Oh, and then we also wanted to give a shout out to our mini listeners, our mini scary dolls. We heard that there's a few of you out there that listen to us, but make sure you listen to us with an adult.
Yes, because I be flying off the handle a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, same.
And I say some crazy things.
Randomness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we like to say we literally love you.
We literally love you guys, no matter what age. Thank you for listening.
Little cuties.
Little babies. And it's Vanessa's daughter and Ari's daughter that listen to us. But you know who we're talking about. We love you.
Shout out to all of you little cuties.
Shout out. And behave and make sure you go to school. And don't be bums.
Make sure you go to school. I love it. Okay, well, we don't have any scary news today. I can kind of go over scary movies that are coming up for 2023.
That would be good scary news.
Yeah. So anticipated horror movies coming in 2023. They're making a new Saw movie.
A new Saw movie?
Another Saw.
I love that little thing. He's so cute.
Yeah.
I dressed like
this
him
would be
year.
number what?
3? 4? I don't remember.
No, this would be the 10th movie.
Which what? I did not
3.
know. I did not know there was that many.
Oh my God, where have you been?
Not watching Saw, apparently.
Yeah, this would be Saw, literally number 10. The 10th movie coming out. And then we have The Exorcist. So they're remaking The Exorcist. That one's coming out this year.
We gotta go see it.
And then we have Evil Dead Rise. That's also coming out. Conjuring 4. Insidious Chapter 5.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. They're remaking Salem's Lot. Stephen King's Salem's Lot about vampires.
We need to use my free movie tickets.
Yeah, let's go. They're making The Nun 2.
Okay.
Gremlins 3, which is anticipated to come out in December. Actually, Christmas.
Damn, we gotta wait that long.
And then Ghostbusters Afterlife Part 2.
I actually liked the Ghostbusters. I thought it was cute.
And then we have Scream 6 coming out. Dune Part 2. I've never seen the first one.
Me neither.
And then we have The Meg coming out. It's called The Trench. So I'm guessing they're making a part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, it's really good. I liked it. And then there's another movie called 65 Million Years Ago with Adam Driver. I guess it's about dinosaurs.
Ooh, I love dinosaurs.
Yeah. So those are the anticipated horror movies coming out for 2023.
Horror movies?
And that concludes our scary news.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun.
We need a fucking swang.
Or we should just do like our iced coffee.
Oh, yeah. That concludes
Scary news.
Ridiculous.
Bunch of losers up in here.
There's some hoes in this house. Oh. I'm on. There's some hoes in this house.
Okay, so we have some really good stories for you guys today.
Very excited.
And I think it's going to be kind of like an eye-opener too.
Especially for me.
For all of my single guys and gals out there.
That are dating and on dating apps and looking.
Y'all just need to be careful, okay? Like, I can't.
I can't stress this enough. I am a big advocate of being careful, and then my dumbass goes and meets these people at random ass places. But, you know, if you're going somewhere, tell your friends where you're going. Send them your location.
Yeah. Just be careful.
Be careful.
Okay.
Be safe. Watch your surroundings. Anyway, we're going to kickstart this shit. Okay. If you're getting past this point and you're not 18, please turn off the radio because we're going to be getting spicy.
It's not really spicy. We're going to be talking about murders.
Murder mysteries.
I mean, not really
Not mystery,
mysteries.
but yeah.
Okay, so backtrack. In honor of Valentine's Day, we are going to be talking about online dating horror stories.
Yay.
And when I mean horror stories, I do mean like these are real life crimes that happen to people who met up with people on dating apps. And
it happens.
I feel like this is like the new thing nowadays. We have Tinder, we have Plenty of Fish, we have Bumble,
we have Hinge, we have
Hinge,
just kidding.
We have Facebook, Instagram,
Yeah.
Snapchat, like
Girl, yes.
anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Like Messenger. Apparently that one guy was like messaging you on Messenger. He doesn't even have a Facebook that we know of.
God, this guy does not have a Facebook, only a Messenger, and he messages me all the time.
Sends her like
He sends me
voice memos.
videos of him counting money and telling me that it could all be mine if I give him a chance. And I'm like, bro, where did you even come from?
So dating apps are everywhere, and obviously one of the biggest things that comes with dating apps is like you have to be careful with predators. There's people out there that use these apps to target specific people, so you got to be careful who you go out with. But so dating apps were super popular before the pandemic, and obviously it was we were all forced into isolation because of COVID, and so it caused dating apps to hit a boom. So Tinder is one of the most downloaded dating apps in the world, and it hit 3 billion swipes in a single day during March of 2020, and it's broken that record more than 100 times since then.
That was all me. Just kidding.
So although these apps have helped many people connect with like other singles for years, I mean, we have friends that have met their now husbands and wives on dating apps, and like people are in long-term relationships, and like sometimes, you know, these dating apps help people get their happily ever after. But and then we do have those people that raise alarms in our bread of environment.
Yep.
And this is a big, huge case, especially for women, trans women. And obviously, if you're underage, you're not supposed to have these apps. But unfortunately, we do have young kids, 15, 16-year-olds that download these apps anyways. And then we have the predators that target them too. So these platforms are very, very dangerous. Even though you can find your happily ever after, you have to make sure you let somebody know where you're at all times. If you're going to go out with somebody on any of these apps, pin your location to your friends. Let somebody know where you're going, like Gato does with me.
Literally.
No, like
I will
seriously.
pull up to the parking lot of wherever I'm meeting with someone.
She
and
will
I
send me
it to
like
her.
a rundown of who this person is, and then I start stalking them. Seriously, like I start stalking you,
Have
like
a friend
whoever
like
you
Mandy.
are. I will stalk you, and I will literally. I'm like, if your location disappears, I'm calling the police. Like I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. And then obviously I have to tell her like if I'm going somewhere else after dinner or something like.
She'll literally call me in between.
Yeah. Yes. Like when I went this last
Yes.
time to the pizza. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and now, you know what? I always tell her to, like, okay, are they picking you up or are you driving yourself? She's like, I'm driving myself. I'm like, okay, good. Yes, drive yourself.
I never have anybody pick me up because, first of all, they're going to your house, which, you know, you never know if they just save your freaking address and just pull up on you whenever. So always drive yourself. Always. Don't make them, you know, sometimes they're like, oh, come on, it's a date. I'm supposed to treat you like a gem. No. I'm being safe.
Yeah. So what I'm going to be talking about next is going to be the story of, her name is Francicia Ruth Ibarran. So in Mexico City in 2016, a 26-year-old Emmanuel met 26-year-old student Francia Ibarra on a dating app called Tinder. They had met up many times, or actually several times, before she disappeared on December 3rd. So that same day, December 3rd, she was supposed to meet up with a friend. That same day, she was supposed to meet up with a friend, and because she never showed, it kind of raised alarm with her best friend. So her friends backtracked on her social media, and that's when they found out that she was dating Emmanuel, and apparently he avoided meeting any of her friends and her family.
For a reason.
Right. So he was already a predator. He was looking for somebody to basically rape. So finally, police interrogated him since he was a person of interest. And after interrogation, he finally admitted that he killed her because he wouldn't have sex with her. So therefore, they went ahead and got a warrant to search his apartment. And gruesome remains of human bones were found in a bin of bags on his apartment balcony beside another box that had soda and hydrochloric acid. And that's when he also confessed that he filled up his bathtub with the soda and acid and threw her body in there so it can dissolve. So 6 kilos, which is 13 pounds of human flesh, was retrieved from the bones and have been matched to the victim, Francia. Her clothes were also found hidden in the bag inside the apartment. Horrible.
That is literally so sad. It's so disturbing.
Yeah. And then also too, the fact that he didn't want to meet her family or friends. And then he also admitted too that the reason why he dissolved her body, like he thought he was going to get away with it and he was going to make it seem like basically she ran away. But smart friends for backtracking her social media.
I would
do that too.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, he was arrested. I can't really find much on him. I don't know, in Mexico, I don't know if they report like how much the sentencing is for people, or maybe he's still waiting sentencing. But as far as I know, he's been arrested, but I couldn't find like what he was charged with, or if he was charged, or how long he's going to be in prison for. Yeah.
They should just kill him.
They just said he was arrested. Maybe they did. That's why there's no report on it.
Maybe. Well, Mexico is not that, like, I don't think their system is that kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way it is here in
Maybe
Texas.
they're transferring him, and a group of people grabbed him and threw him in acid too, so he can die.
I wish.
Threw him in acid alive.
I wish that that's how this worked.
Right.
Like if you rape someone, they cut your wiener off and then someone rapes you or something like that. Like I wish whatever you did to someone, they could do it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or just chop
you
their dick
stab
off,
someone
make them
10
eat
times. Guess what, motherfucker? I'm going to stab you too. Motherfucker.
Mother trucker.
Oh, we're saying it a clean version? Motherfucker. I'm
clean.
not clean.
What is clean?
What is clean? Okay. So, I'm really into this YouTuber. His name is Ripshy. I think that's how you say it. Ripshy. Ripshy. He has some really good stories, and people write into him kind of like Mr. Nightmare. So this story is about a man. So he downloaded Tinder because he was like bored and lonely. He said he had never used Tinder before. I mean, he had used Tinder before and never really had a problem with it until he met this blonde woman named Haley. Hello, Haley. I'm just kidding. So he said that she seemed like super cool and she was cute and they really hit it off. So they decided to meet up. So he was like, let's go to a dinner and a movie, like the basics. That's what I call it. And she was like, no, let's go to your house. Like, I just would rather hang out at your house with you. And she was very insistent that they hang out at his place instead. She's like, no, I'd rather hang out with you all alone. You know what I mean? And the man was like, I should have seen this as a red flag, but she was super pretty and he was kind of lonely. So he didn't really pay too much attention to all of that. And he was like, okay, fine. Like, you can come over. So she went, and he said she looked a little bit different from her pictures, but she was still cute. So he just let it go. They were hanging out, having a good time. And she's like, hey, do you have anything to drink? Like, alcoholic wise? And he's like, well, I have some Jameson in the cupboard. So then he's like, let me go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. By the time he goes to the restroom and comes back, she already had made a drink for him and for her. Red flag. How are you just going to go to someone's house and make yourself a drink? First of all, I'm sorry. To me, that's rude. Like, don't touch my shit. So he said at first he didn't want to drink it. So he just kept drinking some beers. And that finally he drank it because she was so insistent. And she like, drink this. I made it for you. Blah, blah, blah. So he got really kind of drunk, and he said that he was on the couch and he started feeling a little dizzy. And he said, I guess he passed out and didn't wake up till the morning. So he knocked out for over 5 hours. He was laying on the floor in his room, and he said he felt weird and his whole body was like in a lot of pain. And there was bruises all over his body when he woke up, and like cuts on his stomach that were kind of like stab wounds, but not that deep. He said there was blood everywhere, and he was trying to look for his phone, but he couldn't find it. So he's like, damn, this bitch took my phone. He couldn't find his phone, but he had like an old phone somewhere, and he like charged it and then like caught onto Wi-Fi. Like, he connected to his Wi-Fi, and then he like called the police. He had 4 TVs that were all stolen. All his jewelry was stolen. He had a safe with like $20,000, which I do not know why you don't just keep that at a bank. But he had a safe with a lot of money and a lot of like stuff worth a lot of money. They took that too. Obviously, it wasn't a one-person job, you know?
Yeah.
Not only did they take his stuff, they vandalized his whole house, broke all his windows, all his stuff. They even drew a pentagram with his blood on his wall before the people left. The cops showed up, and then he gave them all the information, but obviously when they went back to the Tinder account, it was all deleted. There was no trace of this girl, and they never found out who it was.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy how they can like, they can't trace back the Tinder account? Like, once, like, can you just delete it?
I'm sure you can, but I think they probably like use like a
fake
burner
email
phone or a fake email,
burner phone, I guess,
and then connect it to Wi-Fi at some random
They're
location.
all at the library.
Or like a McDonald's or Starbucks, you know. But yeah, it never said his name, but you really need to go check out that YouTube account. So be careful, guys, with bringing people from Tinder home. They can steal your shit, or worse, you know. At least he didn't die, you know. Poor man. I mean, they stole all his fucking money.
I know.
He said he moved houses a few months later, so he doesn't feel in danger anymore. But he was really like scared to live in his own house. So that's probably like super traumatizing too.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Poor papi.
Poor papacito.
So it doesn't only happen to girls, y'all.
Yeah, it's men too. Fucking crazy ass bitches out there.
If y'all see a sexy mom. Also, there's a fake account of me going around. Don't accept it.
Which one? Instagram?
Yeah. It says I sell nudes, which I don't.
Oh my god. So it hit up one of our friends' sons. Oh, so fucking embarrassed. I was embarrassed for you.
I was so embarrassed, guys, because one of my friends' sons follows me. He's like 16, 17. He's like a little bit, no, he's like 16, right?
16.
He's 16. So he's young still. And so when that fake account followed him and was like, check out my nudes, I was like telling my friend, like, I hope you know that's not me. Like, I would not even. So this account just went and followed all my male followers on Instagram. So if you see someone that's selling nudes with my face, it's not me. I'll send them to you for free.
She didn't do it. She didn't.
I wouldn't sell them. I'll just send them to you for free. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But still.
Yeah.
This actually just happened last month, and I've been seeing it on TikTok a lot. This story is about a girl named Valentina Tres Palacios, and she was like a super famous DJ in Bogota. Super pretty, super famous, had like over 16K followers on Instagram. Everybody wanted to hire her. She was like one of the top DJs. You know, everybody wanted to hire her.
Oh,
She was
made
so,
my stomach hurt.
yeah, she's literally the life of the party, beautiful, played good music. So she met this man on Tinder. His name is John Nelson. John Nelson, he was 35 and she was 23. So there's an age gap already. I guess they were dating for a while. And then he flew her out to Mexico and he was like, hey, you know, like, let's meet for the first time. Let's go to Mexico. So they went to Mexico. He paid for everything, bought her whatever she wanted, took her to expensive restaurants, like trying to win her over or whatever, because he was tired of like dating in Texas. He lived in Texas after a while. I think he was from Wisconsin and then he moved to Texas or Wyoming, one of those states.
Yeah.
This is still like a new case, so I couldn't really find too much yet. But anyway, he lived in Texas. He went to church every Sunday. He had 3 kids, so he had just gotten divorced about a year before. And people were saying that he actually was planning on marrying Valentina after they've only been talking for a while. So Valentina worked at a club again, and she was like finishing her DJ at her gig at the Nexus nightclub. Valentina would finish around 5 a.m. She was last seen leaving the office of the nightclub's owner. And then John was in the restroom. Then they got a cab. And then he had apparently moved there because he wanted to leave Texas and eventually move over there with her. So he had gotten an apartment and all that. Moved into the apartment, and then after they got back to the apartment, it said that what happened after that was unknown. But what was known is that Sunday, January 22nd, they saw this man, John, putting a large suitcase into his Volkswagen. So he drove to the south side of Bogota, where then he tossed the suitcase inside a dumpster that was next to a park. And his plan to kind of like deviate the police is he bought different airplane tickets with cash. So he bought one from Panama City to Brazil, and then he bought another ticket to Turkey, and then he bought something to Colombia. I actually think she was Colombian, but I think she was living in,
I don't know, but she's
Panama.
beautiful.
She was so gorgeous, you guys. Sunday afternoon, a person who was just looking for recyclables, you know how people like to like recycle and get money, found a suitcase that John had dumped, and Valentina's body was inside. But the way he saw her is like her head was sticking out of the suitcase. So this is very graphic, you guys. Like if you look it up, people have leaked these photos, which is like so sad because I can only imagine like her mom seeing these pictures all over the internet. But you could clearly see the blue suitcase with her head sticking out of it, which is
horrible.
It made my stomach hurt, you guys. Oh. So, thankfully, they caught him right before he was about to board his flight. So he's arrested, but now he's saying that the cartel was behind Valentina's murder, which,
bullshit.
Come on. They literally saw you walking out with that blue suitcase from your freaking apartment. And what was in there? Her fucking body. So John is facing 4 counts of aggravated femicide, concealment, alteration, and destruction of evidence. It says here that on John's mugshot, you can see he has scratches on his face. You know, Valentina's mom and her brother have spoken about it, and like I just see them like talking, and they're just like bawling their eyes out, and I just feel so sad because here comes this Colombian girl who just was so happy with life. She was a DJ. She was like getting up there, and this married man, I mean, he just got a divorce, but this freaking man just comes and takes everything from her. And they had a lot of cute pictures together. Like it looked, to everyone else, they seemed happy. But yeah. I think he was jealous of her.
Like her career.
And she was always like in a swimsuit. Like she was gorgeous. And
he was ugly.
And he was ugly and disgusting. And he looked like a freaking murderer, rapist. I don't fucking know. But people were saying like, well, she was only with him for the money. And I'm
So
like,
what?
so let her live. And also that doesn't justify.
Even if, okay, look. Yes, it is kind of like, you're with somebody for the money. But if that's the life they choose, that's the life they choose. But that doesn't give anybody the right to kill that person.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give anybody the right to murder anybody unless you're a pedophile. I will kill you.
Exactly. But yeah, it says he can, I guess he's in jail over there. And it said he can be sentenced to 500 to 600 months. How much is that?
500 to 600 months?
Yeah.
That's it?
Well, he's in another country. He could face up to 48 months in prison for concealment. Oh, that's just like all the stuff he can get. That's not on top of the murder charges. So yeah, that, I mean, when more stuff comes out, I'm sure I can go more in depth.
We can do like a follow-up on Scary News.
Yeah, but...
Or Scary News updates.
Yep. And then what else? I think that's pretty much it, but...
That's horrible. Yeah, I saw the photo too on Reddit, and I can't get her face out of my head.
Guys,
she was like
look like
unrecognizable. I felt sick to my stomach.
She looked swollen,
and I can't even imagine like the trauma that man felt seeing her like that.
The one that found her.
The one that found her.
Yes,
like that's traumatic.
So right here it says, on that day, 9:12 a.m., John left the apartment with two black bags. I know, believed to belong to Valentina. At 9:51 a.m., he entered the apartment with a shopping cart in which he placed a blue suitcase, partly covered in a gray blanket. The gray blanket is believed to have covered Valentina's head. So he had the suitcase with a blanket on top, because given the entire body did not fit in the suitcase, before the suitcase was dumped, it was wrapped in 2 strands of 3M black duct tape. It's clear that the disposal of the body was planned, given the long distance of the crime scene to where the body was identified. John is believed to have thrown Valentina's phone into a grassy field near the airport. The Louis Vuitton encased cell phone was found by a man searching for his missing card documents. The man handed the phone over to authorities after he matched the opening screen profile of Valentina with photos he had seen on social media. So he threw her phone away by the airport. He's just literally throwing evidence everywhere, this dumb fuck.
Thinking that he can like throw everybody off.
How do you fucking think you're gonna get away with murder, even if it's in another fucking country? And for him to fucking buy tickets to different countries only makes him look even guiltier, which he is guilty, obviously. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll update you.
It says this is a developing story and we will be updated.
So once we're updated, we'll update you.
We will update you on poor Valentina, and everyone like on TikTok is like, Justin's for Valentina. So Valentina Tres Palacios, if you want to look up her stuff, there's a lot of stuff on TikTok right now about her. And I mean, it's mostly in Spanish because it happened in Bogota, but he found her on Tinder. And he knew he had an intent because he lived in Texas and he had set his settings to wherever she was. Oh.
Doesn't it make you like want to second guess Tinder too?
Bitch. I'm not even on Tinder anymore.
I feel like all the stories that I found were like,
they're all from Tinder. You don't see Bumble or Hinge.
Well, either Tinder or Plenty of Fish. But I think it's because Tinder was like one of the really popular. I remember when I went through my single phase, I downloaded Tinder. But like there's people are just freaking creepy on there.
So the 2 worst apps, I'm gonna tell you right now, because I'm on the, I'm single, so I can do shit like this. But Bumble is good because you get to message them first, so that's a good one. Hinge is good too because like they match. Like Hinge is a good one too. But if you have Tinder, all the guys on Tinder just want to fuck. That's what it is. Like, it's the truth. If you want to find a guy to just fuck, you go on Tinder or Plenty of Fish. I was like, let me try Plenty of Fish. I had never downloaded this before. Literally, I made my profile. Remember I told you? And then I deleted it 20 minutes later because I got literally 2 messages. One was like, what's up, girl? And then the other one was like, let me smoke you out, mommy. And I'm like, fuck no. Give me the weed and leave. I'm just kidding. I was like, first of all, no. So yeah, don't download Plenty of Fish.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And if you want to be on Tinder, just be careful. I had a boyfriend for a while from Tinder, and that didn't work out.
No, he's a sociopath.
He is crazy.
Wild.
I was only with him for 4 months?
Yes, but he's crazy.
He was crazy, and he looked crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. But y'all probably know. If you follow me on Facebook, you know who it was.
Be quiet. Don't say it in the comments.
Don't say his name.
We don't talk about his name.
We don't.
Okay, so my next story is going to be the bizarre disappearance and murder of Sydney Loof. So when 24-year-old Sydney Loof didn't show up for her shift the morning of November 16th of 2017, her coworkers absolutely knew something was wrong because she was the type of employee that always showed up to work on time. If she was late for whatever reason, she either texted her coworkers or she was very she communicated between her and her bosses as well. So she was a very responsible woman, basically. So when her coworkers and her boss were calling her phone, she didn't answer any phone calls, messages. They even had her best friends and her family calling her. And right away when she didn't answer and they couldn't get a hold of her all day, they immediately called the police in Lincoln, Nebraska. They knew something was wrong. Gut feeling something was wrong. So the police went to her home, but nothing seemed out of place. There's no signs of struggle or anything. Then they went ahead and looked at her digital records. So the last thing she posted online before she went missing was Snapchat. She posted a picture of herself in her outfit. She was wearing, it looks like she was wearing a white shirt with a white jacket over her. And she said, "Ready for my date," on Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
So after further digging, the police found that she had been messaging a woman that she met on Tinder by the name of Aubrey. They met for a date once before, and they were planning to meet up again the night of November 15th. So as the days ticked by, Sydney's parents went on the media begging for anybody to give them information of her because they were so desperate to find her. And even her friends made a Facebook page to help search for Sydney. So soon the FBI got involved because this was a national thing. This was an online thing, and the FBI, they have all the gets and gadgets to go through all the profiles, ping her where her phone hit the phone towers, all of that. So they obtained more of Sydney's cell phone data, which showed that her phone last pinged about 40 miles south of Lincoln in a small town called Wildbur. So specifically, this was an apartment that was being rented by a couple named Bailey Bow, who was 23, and by her boyfriend, Aubrey Trail, who was 51 years old.
Ew.
So Aubrey, which is technically Bailey. So Bailey was the woman who was really messaging Sydney on Tinder. Basically, they both have a criminal history of theft and various scams, targeting antique businesses and robbing them across multiple states, but nothing ever violent yet. So police went to Bailey and Aubrey's apartment and questioned them, but they were nowhere to be found. So they ended up getting a hold of the landlord. And the landlord at this point had pointed out, you know what? I went into their apartment after they left and it smelled very strong of bleach. So I thought that was kind of weird. So at this point, the police obtained a search warrant of the apartment complex. And inside the apartment complex, there was a very overpowering strong smell of bleach. One room had been super clean, scrubbed down literally from top to bottom, while the rest of the apartment was super messy. Crap everywhere, clothes everywhere. But this one specific room was perfectly clean, fresh bleach. And you can tell they left in a hurry. They packed shit and left. They also found a lot of items that rang really big red flags. There's a dog leash, but the couple did not have a dog. There's duct tape, a sauna suit with the crotch cut out, zip ties, a hatchet, a plastic drop cloth smeared with blood, and a book on the human anatomy.
Oh my God.
So the police were already Yeah, literally, like the police already like saw all the red flags, and they're like, oh my God, she's probably dead at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like all the signs were there that this girl's probably dead. So they, at this point, began searching for bodies. So they got the hounds and they got the search crew. They started looking at the rural areas around the like the rural areas that are around the apartment complex, ponds, the woods, everything. So after Sydney's parents were speaking on media, they had Sydney's parents speaking on like at the media because they wanted to make sure that her case was still public and like in the eyes public. Like they wanted people to keep an eye out for her just in case like that 5% chance that she was still alive. But at this point, the police did believe that she was already dead. Mm-hmm. So this is where these dumbasses like completely gave themselves away. So Bailey and Aubrey, dumbasses, went on social media because they already named people of interest. Their faces are already plastered all over the news, world news. What is it? Good Morning America, America's Most Wanted, whatever, right? Because they were on the run, pretty much. They went on social media, Facebook Live, made a video. So Bailey went on social media and was basically saying, and she was wearing sunglasses, and she was saying that she had only ever smoked pot with Sydney. They were friends. Yes, they did go on a few dates here and there, but they were more friends. And that Sydney would go over to the house just to smoke weed with them. So basically, she was claiming that she was Sydney's like drug dealer for weed, for marijuana. Oh, and the whole time, Aubrey, which is Bailey's boyfriend, was sitting in the back, not saying anything, in a black hoodie, just like sitting there. While Bailey was on Facebook Live, like claiming their innocence, that they were innocent. Stupid asses. Like, it's almost like when you know you're wrong and you're like making it bigger.
Making it worse.
Yes, Idiot. You're making it worse. Like, anyway, so she swore that they did not murder her. They claimed that they weren't running or hiding, but that they couldn't go home because the media were like hunting them, like the witch trials, and they were being harassed, and that's why they like packed up and left and blah, blah, blah. So at this point, the FBI were able to like ping their locations because of Facebook Live, IP address, all of that good stuff. And finally, they were able to get into custody. Basically, what they were trying to do, they were trying to leave to Mexico. They were trying to cross the border to Mexico.
Oh my! Once somebody crosses to Mexico, it's like it's an end game from there.
Yeah. It's just, the police eventually caught up with them, and what really helped was that they went on Facebook Live, and they were like claiming their innocence or whatever. So the FBI, they were able to get into Bailey's cell phone, and they were able to ping like where the towers that her phone hit the day that Sydney went missing. And so it was revealed that the day of her being reported missing, that Bailey was driving around 200 miles on various dirt roads. It's called Clay County, Nebraska. So she was driving around all over. So there's like a bunch of pins where she was like hitting like the cell phone towers. Mm-hmm. So this was able to give the investigators the track that they needed to try to look for Sydney. So when investigators followed the digital trail, they soon found what they were looking for. So sadly, in a ditch beside an isolated road, investigators noticed an arm sticking out of a garbage bag. Further searching, they found more human remains in 13 separate garbage bags, all near the roads that Bailey's cell phone pinged from. The remains were identified only by Sydney's tattoos. And there's a lot of her remains that weren't recovered. Like her left upper arm was never recovered. There was no internal organs found either. So they don't know what they did with like her internal organs. For all they know, maybe like they threw the organs out and like
or something.
Yeah, they probably sold in the black market. Yeah. Or, the wildlife got to it. I mean, I don't know. They literally threw her in like a rural area. So what they did find was that some of her body parts were also stashed with like latex gloves that were smeared with blood. An autopsy did reveal that her cause of death was from suffocation and that she had bruising to indicate that she fought with her attackers. So she was fighting for her life.
For her life. Oh my God.
So Aubrey, which is Bailey's boyfriend, immediately confessed and told police that he and Bailey, along with 2 other women, supposedly had engaged in some consensual BDSM, which supposedly these 2 other women that were not associated with Bailey paid him $15,000 to film it. And that during this, he accidentally suffocated Sydney and she died. And that they didn't know what to do, so they decided to cut up her body and throw her out. And then in another confession, another story that he claimed was that she had fallen asleep in the living room while Bailey and the other 2 women engaged in group sex in the bedroom, and they accidentally suffocated her for whatever reason, and that's how she died. So then they all panicked and chopped up her body and threw her out.
How does that make fucking sense?
And then in another story, he said,
there's another one.
So it was just like ongoing, on and on and on. But he was confessing that he did it all, that Bailey had nothing to do with it. And they had these like code messages that the police had found, basically that he was saying that he was going to take the fall for it so that basically Bailey would be off scot-free. Mm-hmm. But there's surveillance footage the day of Sydney's murder that Bailey and Aubrey went to a local Home Depot, and it shows them just hours before they met up with Sydney that they were purchasing a hacksaw, tin snips, a utility knife, and a plastic drop cloth. So
dumb.
Everything he was like, all these stories that he was coming up with just did not make sense.
And none of them were true.
None of them were true. Like, he was covering up for Bailey. And then they even discovered coded messages of him saying how he was going to take the fall for everything. And he was coming up with all these different stories. And like, basically what he was trying to do is he was trying to like build Bailey, his girlfriend, into being like, she was the victim too, so she can get off scot-free. No, this bitch was a part of it. Like, they knew what they were doing. They targeted Sydney.
Motherfuckers.
So it gets even weirder. It doesn't stop here. It gets even weirder. And this is where all of you are going to be like, what the fuck? So in June 2019, Aubrey stood trial for first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. So in addition to the digital and forensic evidence, there was witnesses that came through. 3 women who were ordered to remain anonymous. They did not want to have their identities revealed. But basically, they said that there was more motive behind this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So these women were in their early 20s. They testified that they first met Bailey and Aubrey through Tinder as well, and that later Bailey had introduced them to Aubrey, the boyfriend, whom she described as her sugar daddy, boyfriend/sugar daddy.
Oh my God.
So they came up with like this thing with these 3 girls that they were gonna give them manicures, expensive clothing, cell phones, drugs, and a weekly allowance of $150 to $200. So basically they were like their sugar daddy and sugar mama, and they had to refer to them as a sugar daddy and sugar mama, or daddy and mama. So in exchange of all of these allowances, these women had to engage in group sex with Bailey and Aubrey. Sugar babies, whatever. So they were expected to help Aubrey and Bailey to carry out like all of these scams of like stolen property, helping them break into like stores and steal money and all this other shit. Mm-hmm. So as time went on, the rules of this like dynamic relationship got even weirder for the girls. So they became more controlling. They were forbidden to be with any other men. They had to ask permission to go out or do anything. They were locked inside the couple's home or a motel room, and they were expected to check in via text or phone every 3 hours. So they were setting like heavy rules on them. This was only the beginning of it. It gets even weirder after this.
What the fuck?
So the women testified that Aubrey, the 51-year-old boyfriend, described himself as a vampire, and that these 3 women were now witches who belonged to his cult, And they said he claimed to have supernatural powers, like being able to fly and read minds. This is where it gets even better.
Oh, shit.
So the women also testified that Aubrey told them that they needed to torture and kill someone in order to gain more power, and that he could film it and sell the footage for $1 million, and that they would split the money equally among all of them. And Aubrey even suggested who to take as a victim. So he was going on Tinder and swiping right on all these women for potential victims. And unfortunately, Sydney was one of those women.
Oh, no.
So these girls were able to identify that she was one of the women that he swiped right on. Mm-hmm. So the women said that they left the cult November 2017 because they're like, oh, this is too much. Like, this is fucking weird. We want nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. One of them said that Bailey had called her later that month after Sydney's murder and convinced her to travel with them to a casino. But this was before, like, they were suspects of Sydney's murder. She said that she got a weird vibe from them like the whole time that she was there, and once she saw that Lincoln police were trying to contact them, she left because she saw the news outlet, and that's when they were already like published that they were people of interest.
Oh, hell.
So through that, they said that, so through this whole process of them like being a part of like this cult that this Aubrey guy was like trying to come up with, they did say that he did talk a lot about murder and like wanting to torture and kill somebody. So it like this whole case just took like a whole like bizarre detour. Yeah. It was just weird. So in the middle of the girls testifying, Aubrey stood up in the middle of trial at court and yelled, "Sydney is innocent. I curse you all." Grabbed, and he had like a sharp object in his hand and slit his own throat with the blade.
What the?
So it sounds like a movie, right? No, guys, this is like real fucking shit. When I was reading this article and like about this story doing my research, I was like, what the fuck?
I heard you.
You heard me, right? Like I was like what the hell? So they immediately called the ambulance and had to take him to the hospital, and he survived his suicide attempt, and his trial continued.
Good.
Once he recovered, he was back in the courtroom, and he had another surprise up his sleeve. He had recounted his previous statements, calling them bullshit. There was no video. There was no sexual fantasy, because he did claim that he had a sexual fantasy of like tying a woman up and torturing her and then selling the footage like on the dark web to get money. So he had recounted all of his claims. All he said was that he used people for money and he used people for sex, and that killing someone was just a counterproductive thought. It was never a fantasy. So the FBI agents were like, what the fuck? Like, no. So basically, the jurors took into account what these three other women had already said. So this already, like, all the evidence, all the video footage, all like the digital footage or the digital evidence, like pretty much
guilty,
shot him down. Yeah, he's fucking crazy.
Fucking idiot.
This couple is insane. They're insane. So the trial lasted for about 3 weeks. During the time, Aubrey, 51-year-old man, suffered 2 heart attacks and a stroke. And in the end of the jury returned a verdict guilty on all counts. On June 9th, 2021, the trial, he was sentenced to death.
Good.
Yeah. So it barely ended. So June 9th of 2021, he was finally sentenced to death. That's crazy, right? How long like these things take for somebody to get convicted. So anyways, so Bailey, she stood trial September of 2020, and her trial was very much less dramatic, but there was also more physical evidence against her, including her DNA on a latex glove that was found on Lindsay's remains. In October, she was found guilty in all 3 counts. Her sentencing hearing was July 1st of 2021. They were kind of arguing back and forth on whether or not they were going to give her the death penalty. And so because of this, her trial took a little bit longer. And actually, just recently, I found that they just had a verdict for her. Like, not this year, but they had a verdict for her at the end of November of 2021. So she was able to escape death row. So they did not give her death row, but she is sentenced to life in prison.
Good. At least.
What a fucking circus of a trial.
Imagine being a fucking juror in all of this. Like, what? Wait, what? Wait,
yeah.
what?
But it's just weird how
A
it
turn of
all
events.
how it got
Literally.
literally weird, and like how they
Yeah.
were trying to like build like this cult, like this sex cult, vampire, supernatural witch sex cult.
I also believe that people use like mental illness a lot when it comes to murders.
So I did further my research because I was curious about Bailey and Aubrey's backstories. So Bailey, apparently, when she was an infant, her biological father was murdered, and she had a really rough childhood growing up. She was depressed. She, I guess, was sexually and physically abused by her stepfather, and then Aubrey as well, the boyfriend. At age 2, he was abused by his parents before his grandfather took care of him, and he just grew up in like a horrible household. His stepfather also abused him. He grew up in poverty. So then by the time he was a teenager, he was in prison for armed robbery. So like they both had rough childhoods. Not that, I'm not trying to give anybody remorse. I'm really not. They both got what they deserved. Like, yeah, Aubrey deserves to be in death row, and I feel like Bailey does too because she set Sydney up.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of curious what their backgrounds were because they both sound pretty like mentally fucked up. Like with all the shit that they were saying throughout this whole trial.
I also feel like though the way you're brought up has a big part in your life
of how you turn out as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your responsibility to cut it there and be the change in your family, but I don't know.
Break the cycle.
Break the cycle, exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I just feel so sorry for her family too. Because they were sitting through all that bullshit and like having to hear all that and having to hear how like the shit that they found, like they didn't, and none of the articles say like what they did to her because he didn't come out and say it, but just the evidence that they found, they tortured her, and she fought for her life, but unfortunately like they killed her. Yeah, they overpowered her and they killed her. Of them. I really do think that Bailey should have gotten death row too. She was a big part of it.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them equally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, rest in peace, sweetie pies.
Yeah.
We're not trying to scare you guys because, you know, it's hard out here to find yourself like a good partner, but just be very vigilant and be cautious of who you go on a date with. Like, I've had plenty of bad dates, but I've also had plenty of good dates, you know? So just be very careful. Send your locations.
Yeah,
to your besties.
You have to.
Mandy will literally show up dressed up like a man.
Hulk Hogan.
Like Hulk Hogan.
Hell yeah, brother.
She'll put on a mustache and literally sit 2 tables down.
We'll post pictures on Instagram to show y'all.
Hilarious.
If y'all follow Caro on Instagram,
and Snapchat.
She actually has a picture of me on there.
I think
and my Hulk Hogan did it.
Yeah. Oh, it was a story.
We'll post it on Instagram for y'all. We should just make my Hulk Hogan photo the cover art right for this episode.
That would be so
Oh
fun.
my god,
Tinder
I'm gonna
dates.
do it. Tinder dates. I'm Hulk Hogan's sister.
I'm Brooke Hogan, his daughter.
Brooke Hogan's daughter. Stepdaughter.
I love that song.
I'm just trying to be like my daddy.
I see your lips moving, but I don't hear nothing.
So earlier this week, before recording this episode, we did post on our Instagram stories asking for everybody to submit their dating horror stories. And Miss Ariana, of course,
Ari,
has crazy ass stories, supernatural and with the natural humans. So this girl, Ari, oh my god, I'm gonna read your story. So she wrote to us and submitted her story, and she said, I dated this white guy who I went on 3 dates with, and on the 3rd date he legit made a scrapbook with our previous 2 dates on them, like ticket stub, chopsticks from the restaurant, like stuff from our date, I guess, when I wanted to like stuff from my date. And when I wanted to stop talking to him because he gave off weird vibes, he threatened to sue me and to press charges because I didn't want to give back the scrapbook.
Oh my god.
And I said, buddy, that's been in the trash since I first received it. And then he had his girlfriends, like his friends that were girls, threaten to beat me up.
Y'all can't beat up Ariana. She a firecracker.
It doesn't end there. So she said, I later found out he had a PI follow me because I never told him where I lived or anything because I had just met him. I don't want him to know where I live. Why am I going to tell a random guy that I just met where I live? So he knew where I lived after that.
Oh my God.
What time I left for work and etc. So he was basically stalking her. Years later, last year actually, he added me on Instagram again and wanted to mend things, but I told him I'm taken now. He still tries to hang out. And then she sent me a screenshot of like what he looks like, and he looks like a creep.
Wait, let me see. Ew. Sorry, let me.
He looks like a creep.
What the hell, Ari? Why are you doing that?
He just gives off weird vibes too.
You can tell.
But he was like
crazy.
legit stalking her.
That's fucking gross, bro.
Oh, Ari.
Don't fall for these white guys.
And
I'm just kidding.
And I told her, I was like, girl, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
And she was like, I got plenty more. I got to go through my archives. So more to come from Ari.
Thanks, Ari. Oh, also, shout out to Ari's daughter, Corinne.
Our little mini boo.
Hi. Thanks for listening.
Love you and Millie.
Yeah.
So we had one listener submit another story to us. This one's kind of short and spick and span.
Paying for his pawn loans while he was fucking his baby mama when I would go to my mom's. I love
the
her.
drama.
Should we say her name? No, I'm not going to say her name. We're going to keep it.
No, we're going to keep her name anonymous because she sent it to us on a story. So she probably
So she was paying his loans while he was fucking his baby mama. Mm-mm. Everyone fucks their baby mama.
Yeah, I don't care what they say.
Yeah. They're always going to go back to their baby mamas. I actually found one that I thought this is what I would be so scared of. It says, I met a guy on Match.com back in New York City. He was really nice. We went on about 4 or 5 dates. One time he asked me to go out to dinner and I told him I couldn't go because I didn't get paid until the next week. And I was so broke. I told him I only had $10 to last me till next week. He was like, no, like, come on, it's my treat. Right? Says we went on a pizza date, shared some pizza, had a glass of wine. The bill came and it just sat there for a long time. Finally, I said, we should probably go. And he picked up the bill and looked at it and said, if we split it, it's $15 each, including tip. I looked at him shocked and I said, I told you I only had $10 to last me till next week. And he's like, okay, just give me the $10 and then you owe me a drink next time. Embarrassing. Ew. Bro, that's what I'm so scared of. Like, that's why I won't go on a date if I don't have money, because like you never know. If I'm like pinching on cash, I'm like, we can go another day, because what if they just leave you with you never know, like they can just leave you with the bill, you know. So that's one thing I'd be scared of.
So it's funny because when Gato and I decided that we wanted to do like online dating horror stories, like, I feel like our Facebook, Instagram, and like our For You page on TikTok started popping up with all of these articles and stories and stuff. So this one article popped up of people submitting screenshots of conversations that they had on different dating apps. And some of these are hilarious.
Oh my God.
So I'm just going to read some. So this one girl screenshotted this guy. It looks like this is from Bumble. And this guy said, let's date each other's. And she wrote back, each other's what? And he wrote back, let's date each other's. Each other's what? Let's date each other's. Bailey. You have another Bailey? And he wrote back, you. What's your uranium got to do with this? Let's go to each other's. Each other's what? So literally this was their conversation back and forth. And then she just finally blocked him.
Oh my God, you idiot.
Okay, this one's hilarious. This one kind of backfired on this girl. So this guy screenshotted this from Tinder. And this girl said, I'm excited. How tall are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? He said, I am as well. It'll be a good time. No problem at all. I'm 6 foot. How tall are you? She said, I'm 5 foot. Haha, that's good. I like taller guys. I'm not really into short guys. Just making sure. So where were you thinking of going for dinner? That seems kind of shallow, no? But who am I to judge? Because I'm not really into short girls anyways. I like taller girls. I think it's best that we don't go out to dinner anymore. Best of luck on your tall guy search. And she wrote back, are you fucking kidding me? And then he blocked her.
Okay, guys, that was a good one. Because it's true. It's like guys can... It's just true. That's like if the guy would ask you, like, how much do you weigh?
Yeah. Guys,
You know what I mean?
Do y'all hear that? It's the puppies barking. Sorry.
They're sad.
So this one guy wrote to this girl. It looks like this was on Bumble. And he said, you only attracted to demigods. I've been told I remind people of Hercules. And she said, clever, LOL. What resemblance do you have to Hercules? And he said, my dad left me when I was young.
Poor babe. Wait, he came back. Zeus came back. Fucking idiot.
Oh my god.
Bless my soul. Hercules on a roll.
Oh my god.
Okay, I found this one that said, I saw this guy on my PT. We matched the same day on Hinge. We talked about how I had a back injury and how I was bedridden for 6 months and set up to meet for drinks the next day. Once there, he asked me what my favorite food was, and I suggested a few things. And he said, you seem to know a lot about food here, which I replied, yeah, I'm a foodie. Then he was like looking at her up and down. He's like, looking at you, I can tell. She was like, I was perplexed. Did this guy just call me fat, especially after I told him I'd been bedridden for 6 months? And he's also seen me at PT in my gym clothes. He knew I was fat. Trying to give him an out, I laughed and I said, are you saying I'm fat? I had my fingers crossed here because I was hoping he's just awkward. He said, I mean, no one's really gonna call you thin, right?
Ew.
She said, I threw a 20 on the table and walked off. And I told him to keep the change. His reaction to this was sending me a text later on asking if we were going on a second date. After you called me fat, you want me to go on a date with you? Are you fucking kidding me? That's embarrassing.
No.
I always tell guys, like, when I meet them, like, I don't go on a lot of dates, but I'm like, I hope you know I'm not super thin, like, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't care about that.
Oh my gosh.
So it's scary that you have to even say that sometimes.
Yeah. You know, my friend Ruby, shout out to Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
She has a bunch of crazy stories because she did a lot of online dating too before she met her husband. And she gave me, like, she would tell me some fucking crazy stories. And I can't remember if I've talked about them before, but if I have, sorry, you're going to hear them again. But she told me about this one guy she met. I think it was Tinder. And they ended up exchanging numbers and they would talk on the phone every now and then. And she said she was talking to him on the phone while she was peeing, but she had put herself on mute. And then she forgot she took herself off mute. Oh no, she forgot that she had herself on mute. She started talk to him and then she unmuted herself. And he was like, what were you doing that you muted yourself? And she was like, oh, I was peeing. He's like, oh, can I hear you pee? And she was like, what? And he was like, can I hear you pee? And she was like, you're into that? And he's like, yeah, can you send me videos and like voice memos of you just peeing? And she's like, no. And she was supposed to meet up with him for a date and she blocked him and was like, hell no.
No. I've had a lot of crazy guys ask me for some random shit. Yeah. Actually, I've had guys ask me for feet pics, and more recently, you know how at the beginning of the episode I said I was peeling from my face. This guy, I posted like a little picture of like the corner of my face, and it was peeling, and he said, "Hey, can you save me a piece of your skin?" Bitch, I was shocked. I was shook. Like, what?
Ew.
So I did. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do it. I was like, no, that's fucking weird. I've had guys ask me for my underwear. I've had guys ask me for some of my hair. Like,
but there's guys out there like that.
Guys, y'all need to relax.
She also came across this one guy who had messaged her. I was on another, I don't know if it was Tinder or if it was Plenty of Fish. It was one of those two apps. But she was just like, man, like dating online is fucking crazy. Like you come across all these riddles. And she said that she was messaging this guy back and forth. And he had like a decent photo. So she says she started going through his profile pictures. And there's one pictures of him that she had found of him. And he was like into that adult baby, like where he wears diapers and like he had like a binky and yeah, and so he told her, can you come over and change my diaper, mommy? Like
Oh my God.
When she told me, I was like,
Did you, bitch?
no. She was like, yeah, I blocked him after that.
Good. Guys, there's some real creepies out there.
I remember when I was on Tinder for a little bit, there is, because I had put on there, like, you know how it has you like pick the categories that you're into. I put on it that I liked Harry Potter, and so there was like all these POV accounts of like guys pretending to be Harry Potter, and like I remember I got a message from a Harry Potter account, like they were pretending to be Harry Potter, and like he was like sexting me, and I was like, this is so weird. You're like 12 in the movies.
Ew.
I blocked him. It was weird.
No, there are really some people out there that are just
So you have like these
crazy.
really scary stories about the crimes that are happening, but then you have these like funny first dates, and then you have like the weirdos that come across and have like weird requests.
It's scary,
And you know what?
you don't know
It's
what the
not
other girl's
just-
thinking.
Yeah, and it's not just girls too. Guys, y'all gotta be careful too, because I came across some fucking crazy ass stories where like these girls like rob you. Like
Yes.
they will drug you, they will get you like shit drunk to where you pass out and you wake up and your car's gone, your wallet's gone, like your apartment's ransacked. So
don't think with your dick either.
yeah, so
Don't be
you
like,
gotta
damn,
be
I'ma
careful.
fuck tonight, and then you wake up and all your shit's gone.
And we even came across stories where like the Tinder dates, the girls are the ones that try to fucking kill the guys too. Like,
Yes, it's not just a one-way street, guys.
Yeah.
Here, like everyone's crazy. You gotta be careful.
everyone's psycho.
And if somebody messages you, you just gotta talk to them.
I'll tell my cousin too, because my cousin, he sometimes does some online dating. I'm like, man, you know what? You need to be careful. These bitches are crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a girl. I'm crazy.
Yeah, Mandy
So-
tells me that all the time, especially when I'm about to go on a date. She's like, send me your location. Let me see what outfit you're wearing. Literally, I send her everything.
And you know what? If you're too embarrassed, or if you don't want to tell like your friends for whatever reason, or your family where you're going, just message us on Instagram and send us your location. Like we
Yeah.
will do our research. We'll be the FBI agents.
We're nosy as fuck. Me and Mandy will literally pull up and get a table 3 booths from y'all.
Literally, like something will happen with like one of our friends, and they're like, "Oh my god, this girl messaged me, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "What's her name?" And there I am doing my FBI
Oh, yeah,
research. I'm
she's
like, "Oh
really
look,"
good at
I'm like,
that.
"I found her Facebook, I found her Instagram, found her Twitter. She has a YouTube and a TikTok."
If y'all need to get out of a bad date too, call someone. Me and Mandy have a safe word. Like, you know what I mean? Like if
I
I
can't
tell
tell
her,
you what it is.
yeah, if I text her something or be like, call me and pretend you're crying, I will fucking do that. I've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yep.
called people crying before, like, oh my god, I'm so scared. Can you come get me?
Or I just don't want to be alone.
I did that to my friend. I'm not gonna say her name.
But you know who you are.
I'm sure she knows. Anyway,
She's a bitch.
I know. But yes, guys, if you need anything, if you need us to call you crying,
We will.
we will fucking do it. Or we'll be like, ¿Dónde chingados estás? I'll pretend to be your mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
so
pretend to
fun.
be your daddy.
Come here,
Or guys too. You want me to pretend to be your baby mama? I will.
Yeah, I'll pretend to be your baby mama and get you out of a date. I'll be like, are you fucking my husband? Turn the tables, baby. This is hilarious.
Or girls, I'll have Tim Con pretend to be your dad too. Where the fuck are you? Like, or to pretend to be your
Tim
baby
will
dad.
do it. Tim will do it. He's crazy.
We got your back. We got your back here.
backs.
That's scary. That's scary.
This is
podcast.
a safe zone. So if you want to go on a date and you feel scared, let us know.
We'll even sit in the back with mustaches.
Yeah.
Make sure that
I
you're.
already have one. Nah, I'm just kidding.
I have a whole baggie full.
Mine's real. Just kidding.
Mine's white. If you see Hulk Hogan sitting in the back in the back of the restaurant, don't mind me.
She was wearing a beanie with a white mustache and she looked like Hulk Hogan.
We're gonna.
I said, hell yeah, brother.
We sent it to our group chat too for work, and I was like, "Oh look, I found my disguise for Gato's date on Saturday." And
That was actually a really good date. That was a good date. I had a good time
I
with
was
him.
still nervous though.
Me too.
I get nervous. I'm like, "Are you okay?" And I'm there like watching.
She
her
literally
location.
texts me every freaking hour and I'm like, I'm fine. Let me get it in. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. But
I'm
anyway,
not a
guys.
cock block. I just, we read and we watch too much like crime shows, and you just get paranoid. But paranoia is not a bad thing.
It's not.
You're just extra cautious. So just be careful, you guys.
Especially in this field of work that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I know. And don't come for us.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, be
Anywho.
careful.
Be careful out there in this crazy world. And don't forget to vote for us.
Yes, don't forget.
You have until the 15th to vote for us. And after that, we go into round 3. So hopefully we make top 3.
Hopefully.
I will cry. I will cry happy tears. But you know what? We're going to manifest it.
Manifest good things.
Manifest good things. Do-do-do. Whatever.
So ready.
Yes. So make sure you keep an eye out on our Instagram accounts and our Facebook. We will be sharing the link for everybody to vote. But if you have any crazy online dating stories, or if you have any other type of stories you want us to cover, make sure you email us at scarynotScaryPodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, any of the major platforms you're listening to us on. Rate and review us so that way we can get into the charts. And make sure you follow us on our social medias. Our main account's going to be Instagram. We engage with everybody on Instagram. Make sure you follow us. That's where you're going to find all of our announcements for live shows, new episodes. If you want to submit your stories there as well, follow us on Instagram. We want to try to hit 1,000 followers.
This is our goal for this year.
Yeah, we're going to try at least hit 1K.
For sure.
We're trying, baby. We're trying.
Maybe
okay?
we'll have a giveaway or something.
Yeah, I know.
So you can tag your friends.
Well, we have a delay with the warehouse right now. We've been fighting with them since December. Oh, no, October. I don't want to talk about that's a whole other thing. I don't want to get off topic. But yes, follow us, and I think that's it. Be careful out there.
Be careful, guys.
We love you guys.
Message us if you need us.
You know, we're always here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we're like right here. Get out of my brain.
Get out of my
And it's hot in here.
It's
Our
my house. Ay, Dios mío.
Anyways, until next time, remember to always stay scary. That's what you're going to be doing for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Woo!